Hey guys and gals, got another one for you today. Let the playoffs begin. First we start in the Conqueror, and what I did, rather than putting like a new 75% crew in, I put in, I just left the drivers in the tank. So I think most of them ended up around like 80 to 90%. So yeah, after 3 games, that's kind of where the drivers end up. On average, somewhere in there. Unless you have better games. You don't play as bad as I do. Alright, so what are we looking at? We got Tier 9, Tier 8 match. And we're on one of my favorite maps. Definitely prefer it in like a scout or a medium. But it does bode well, in my opinion, for like any type of tank that you have. There's sniping positions for snipers, and I don't mean like triangles, I mean play style, because to me any tank pretty much can be used on the front line, just some better than others. Even like taking the Sturv B, I've seen people be able to take that thing and drop it on the front line and bounce a million shells. Now, I'm not saying that's what you should do in your Sturv B, I'm just saying there are players that know how to use that thing's armor very well. Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent here. Alright, so how are we going to do this? Well, in the playoffs, we're going to go by damage, assist, blocked, XP earned, do that again. But then winning percentage and the rank, since that's how the wizard, I think, got in, that's going to be a part of it. How many kills they get, and those are going to be pretty much the main factors. Now, I'm not going to really say that there's a winner. I'm just going to keep track and show you guys. Now, there might be a standout winner. However, really tanks are subjective, and they're really limited to gameplay, right? So like, even though I might suck in the Conqueror, you guys might be really good in it. So just because my stats don't say that it's good doesn't mean that it's a bad tank. It's probably just not my play style, or I got bad matchmaking, or you know, there's just a bunch of factors that go in on tanks. So by playing 8 games in a tank will not determine whether it's good or not. Not to mention, we're doing this with crappy crews, but it is fun just to have a competition to see what Tier 9 heavy tank is the best in my positioning, I guess, is for lack of a better term. Alright, so we have given up all our hit points, already schmacked us once. Now we're going to get that Conqueror auto-locked, and now Samil 2 is going to try to get some shells into us. Hopefully we can back up in time to stay hull down. Now we are exposed to Artie, right as I say that, he tracks me. And this is going to be pretty awkward since the Emil is able to just drive over and shut us down. But we did our damage. Not a terrible game. If we had a few more hit points to play with, we probably could have ended that a little bit better. Alright, let's speed this up. Now, why did we win this map? Well, you can see our team spread out down the 4 line, and like I've always said, the 4 line controls this map. Whoever runs the 4 line usually is going to win this match, unless you get capped. Like, you have to pay attention to your cap on both sides. Generally, if you've won the northwest corner, there's a bunch of tanks missing, like 5 or 6 tanks missing, then generally they're going to be heading towards your cap. So you want to make it back, and it's a long cap, so you usually can make that drive and make it back. And that's where I've aced a lot of my tanks. I've aced tons of tanks in this map because there's so much damage to be had. If you have a successful game on the 4 line and then you fall back to your base and kill the rest of the reds, then you are going to rack up the damage. Not to mention if there's arty, you're going to rack up the assist damage, and it makes for really awesome games. Or XP games. Alright, so they got the tortoise left. Conq takes the tortoise out. Now there's just a heavy and artillery. I asked them to cap just because I want to get this over with, and I see that their heavy tank is on our cap. So now these guys can probably make it back. I'd rather the game just get over faster. Unfortunately, only one of them stays on, so I'm going to have to wait 3 minutes either way. The E75 kills are 53-55. Now this T20 is going to take pot shots and an E75 across the field. That's going to be pretty tough sledding for a T20 to reliably get through that armor. Now the heavy tank is swinging around to the south of it. Really, this T20 should start moving to the north, like keep that rock in between them. And this T20 can have a nice end to the game if he goes up behind him and shoots him, even tracks him. But generally just shoot him up the butt. Like, so I ping the map, it's like T20, you need to get your butt over there. And he goes. Shooting at the snow. I think the E75 can feel him coming. Doesn't really care about him. It just decides at this point he's got to put pressure on the Conq. T20 bounces shells off the back of the E75 and then the Conq shuts him down. So, end of that game. Not the best game. Definitely lost too many hit points early, and that's kind of the risk that you do in that. If you drive across that field, you're spotted, Arty's going to blast you for it. But we take 6, 2,300 damage dealt, 600 assisted, 600 blocked, 0 kills, 944 XP earned. So let's move into the second match. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to play 5 games, and then I'm going to drop the worst game out of the 5. So that way, there's a pretty decent average. I figure 4 out of the 5, drop the worst one. It's going to give you a good feel of what the tank is capable of with a 75% crew. Now we're going to run same equipment, so each tank will have a rammer besides the 50-120 and the Emil. They will get vents, and then toolbox and binos. And then we'll have a standard fire extinguisher, standard med kit, and standard repair kit on each of them. And that should give the level playing field. Would you take some premium rounds in each of them? So making sure that we are capable to pen whatever we need to pen. At tier 9, generally your premium rounds are going to go through tier 10s pretty reliably, unless you totally potato your shots up. Take a Hail Mary shot on that Lycan. We don't land it. Didn't expect to, but I figured I'd be loaded by the time I get up to the fight, so sometimes you hit those shots, you never know. Alright, so we come up here right in time to catch this Conq. Unfortunately, we don't get the drive wheel shot in. Then this Patton gets tracked out here. We'll go for an engine shot there. I probably should have shot the drive wheel off, but I was hoping to be able to light a fire. Unless his fuel tank was damaged, we weren't going to get it. So, alright. So we come up here, get a shot into that Pantera, and we're going to try to get pressure on this Emil. We back up. He tracks us. I'm not going to use my repair kit until I take damage. And there I took damage, so I'm going to repair that, pull forward, get a shot into the Pantera. Now I have to be careful because I no longer have a repair kit, and my crew is not good enough to get the tracks back on fast enough. So we're gonna be patient, wait for them to push up, or for their one line to push forward as well. If they have more tanks that go in front of us, like the Conq and the Patton, then we're gonna punish them in the side. And this is, to me, this choke is a very patient choke. Generally, whoever pushes the hardest is going to lose, and that's because when you push this out, you really open yourself up to getting shot by arty. You get shot by tanks covering them. So like for us, the tanks in D7 can actually get shots into B3, and then alternatively G2 can get shots into C2. So if you push forward, you put your tank at risk for the Reds to be able to get it. Now, if you have the full tank advantage, like if you sent your whole team here and they sent only half their team, then you kind of need to push it out. Otherwise, you're going to get capped or get cap pressure and have to split your team anyways. So that's part of the risk, and the last two shots I've kind of fluffed. I missed the side of the Conqueror, just going for the drive wheel, and I ended up shooting high in his upper plate. There, we have a T95. We're trying to track him, and we missed that shot, but we're able to get a shot into his lower plate. And now we get a shot into his top cap, and the Patton slips by. Already swings at my buddy on my right, or at me. I think it's probably more so the guy on the right. Missed a shot into the Emil's hull. It is 9-4. And here I decide to turn around and try to get shots into the sniper. Mainly because I only have one medium tank back at the cap. And if this sniper somehow manages to kill that medium and my arties, then he's going to be putting cap pressure on, so I figure I'd give my medium a hand, see if I can help him out. And he starts driving down the hill right as I pull the trigger there. I did not anticipate that, so I end up missing that shot. So we left a lot of shots on the table in this one, which is kind of unfortunate. Definitely can't blame the gun of the Conqueror. The Conqueror's gun is very nice at tier 9, gun handling, velocity. It's just overall a really nice gun. Not to mention you're able to get hull down and aim it and really utilize the strength of the turret to not have to worry about getting penned while you're aiming your gun. Alright, so now we're gonna push towards their base. Generally there's tanks that line up along the K line. They only have one medium though, so they sent a lot of tanks up to the choke, but they tried to push it, and we didn't really. We just stayed patient, worked our way through. Their Patton's able to take down our Patton, and I auto-lock a shot there. Pick up some assist damage and a kill. Only kill of the game. But that was a better match. Think of what could have been if we landed those shots. Probably would be up around the 5k damage. But it is what it is. Throw down 3,400. 151 assisted, 2,000 blocked. And totals are at 5,700, 800 assist, 3,800 blocked, 2,000 XP. We took third in that match. And then we got one kill so far, and we're 2-0. So that's really the stats that we're going to use to break down the matches. Let's jump into the next one. Alright, so now we are on steps. There are two batch at 58s on my team. They have a 261 and a batch at 58, so gotta be careful for artillery in this match. We're going to head right. And I feel like heavies can go either direction. Hull down heavies probably should only go to the right, whereas corner fighters and like brawling armored heavies to the left, in my opinion. Not to say you can't make it work on the right side, but there are just some open rolling hills over here, so to be hull down heavy, it's a little bit easier. Mediums should generally push the right side, and then tank destroyers, I mean, I like to play my tank destroyers up front and personal, so I don't really have a preference on which side you take with your tank destroyer, but I know that there are good games to be had by actually being patient and sniping in the back. However, I feel like when I do that, I don't always have the best games, and sometimes my teams will melt before I can even get damage out. So you got the 4 tanks spotted over here. Don't have a lot of help, so I don't know how long I want to really commit here. And then there's another tank spotted, so they have quite a bit of tanks over here. I'm hoping to get some help. It looks like Artie is definitely helping me out. We've landed all 3 of our shots so far. Artie slams that machine. Really wanted to track him up there. Couldn't get the shell in time. Out of lock that Patton, we get a shell into him. And now we throw the GG out there because our team has all left us besides this E1 that's behind me. So I'm hoping, I don't want to get too high up on this hill and get shot in the side, but I also want to try to stay hull down. So I'm kind of in a pickle of a situation. This is not the preferred positioning that I'd like to be in. We are able to track that machine. Now, hopefully this E1 can finish him up. Sure enough, he does that. And we're going to try to get the track here. E1 tracks him. I retrack him. And I think my E1 is out, so it's going to have to be me that takes him out here. Hopefully we can get a shell before he backs up, and we're unable to, which is unfortunate. Alright, so we go for a shot into the Conqueror. We finally miss a shot there. And I back up too far and allow the Leopard in C7 to get a shot. Now I'm hoping that these guys react to what's going on the map, but obviously teammates don't always have the map up, so they don't pay attention to what's going on. Yes, I went a little ping crazy. I was pretty irritated that they weren't either pushing forward or coming back to the base to defend, and now it looks like they're starting to react a little bit, but it's too late. So this Panzer 7, God knows what he was doing. Staying on the base on this map is really useless. You got to pick a flank or defend the middle, but in a heavy tank, to defend the middle, you really expose yourself to a lot of different gun angles, so I don't recommend that. Really, only scouts should run the middle, and highly camouflaged mediums and tank destroyers, maybe. But if you get spotted in the middle, you really open yourself up to a lot of different gun angles, so it makes it difficult. Now the Reds don't decide to put cap pressure on, they continue to push forward, and that's going to make it a little bit tricky for these guys. I feel like these guys were a little bit slow on making their push. Had they made that push, they'd be able to react better to the tanks coming in behind them. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, so they're going to have to eventually fight from both sides. Now, this scout in the medium that's running up the 1 line has really done nothing. I think they started to come to my side, and then they fell back, and they just continue to fall back. Now, at this point, it seems like they've given up, and they just want to kill Artie. And really, there is still a game to be had, so it's kind of unfortunate that them two just kind of drive away and do nothing. The cap's going off, but there's only one guy on cap, so if those two work together to go down to the cap, they could get resets. Our heavies are pretty healthy. So had they had a scout and a medium supporting them, I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating because A, if our 1 line was a little bit quicker to make this push, B, if our Patton and our Rue actually played to win the game, this definitely could have been a win. Like, even them sticking around a little bit longer to help me in the E1 out a little bit, I think would have bought our 1 line a little bit more time. But not a terrible game. Artie definitely helped us out with 2k damage, but totals are up to 8,200. 2,700 assisted, 3,500 blocked, 2,600 XP earned. We take first place in that losing match. We pick up a kill. Or no, that kill from was the last game. We don't have a kill here. And we are 2-1 now. So far, not terrible. Definitely the Conqueror getting into the playoffs had a huge game and ended up totaling over 10k damage in the 3 games that we played to get it into the playoffs. So we're waiting for that game. This thing can be absolute monster. You get dug in, it is hard to dig a Conqueror out. Obviously, Artie is one of the worst things to see in this tank just because the engine deck is ginormous. Top of the turret is able to get penned by Artie. So it just, from the clouds, it is a big red target. And when you're dug in, generally what the Reds need from their team is artillery fire to take out a Conqueror. And Artie will take this thing out quickly. So just be aware of that when you're playing this. Not to say that other tanks aren't, there isn't many tanks that like to take RE fire. Like the Maushan can handle a little bit more than most. The Type 4, actually, I don't feel like the Type 4 can handle that much. Depending on where the artillery hits you and what kind of artillery is hitting you. But in my opinion, this is the best rookie line to go down. Probably this and the IS-7. Not to mention that this line, you can get 3 tier 10 heavy tanks out of it, and 2 of them are really good tanks. The Chieftain and the Super Conq are, in my opinion, 2 of the best tier 10 heavy tanks in the game. I do like the FV215B, but there is some risk playing that. It is kind of an awkward, weird monster. So, and when you're starting out, having the Churchills and the Black Prince, I think, are actually beneficial. They're slower tanks, but that's okay when you're starting out to have a slow tank to really pace yourself. The guns are pretty reliable. And the ship barn takes us down there. Probably shouldn't have been poking against the ship barn. Like I said, if he hits the top of our armor anywhere, or even our lower plate with the Hesh round, he's gonna be able to pen it. So I was hoping that I was hull down and he'd shoot my heat shield, but apparently that didn't happen because we had a lot of health and we weren't able to pick that up. So let's fast forward. Now, to me, the meta of this map used to be the southwest corner was the most important part. However, I feel like I'm the only one on my team that goes down there, so I don't know if it's actually key to win that anymore, which is kind of frustrating because I tend to go down there quite a bit and die. Didn't this game, but I don't know, it just seems like the Reds make it more of a priority. And either side that I'm on, generally my team's going to go down the ice road, which it can be won from the ice road, it's just a lot more difficult. If you win the southwest corner, in my opinion, it's the easiest way to win this map. Control the middle, win the southwest, and then work your way from there. Now, my Conqueror is dead, but there's another Conqueror on my team, so we'll be able to look and see what he's doing. Kind of overexposes himself on this ridge, but he was going to die anyways, so just got our medium left. He's on top of the Artie hill. It looked like he was going to send it, but this shit barn says, no you're not, you're going to give me some extra damage. Thank you, bud. Alright, so like I said before, we're going to drop one game, obviously in 14th place with 450 damage and 177 XP earned. This is going to be the one that the Conqueror drops. This is not impressive at all, so we're going to get rid of that game and not judge the Conqueror based on that crap. Alright, so this map has not been good to my tier 9 heavy tanks, mainly because I push the EF line, and I push it early often, and just like the previous map, I feel like it's the easiest to win from that position. However, my team never tends to go there, so I'm usually alone. But we're going to push there again. See what they got over here. Try to go to the most important positions on the map, win those positions, and then move forward. E75 is kind of blocking me in here. I'm trying to work around the ridge line. Can't get any closer to the mountain than what I just did there. Alright, so the Scourge is trying to do what I'm doing. Now, you try to get into this area, and as long as you can force them around that corner, like we try to force them around the F2 corner, they try to force us around the E2 corner, and then you're able to get shots in. Alright, but if we need a good showing, we have to do it in game 5. We've had a couple average games in this thing. We definitely need to try to throw down a good one to, get the Conqueror up there. I don't want to just have these tanks that one throw down zeros. Try to shoot that scout out of the air. Somehow he survives. Only takes 400 damage on that fall. It'll be interesting to see how he landed there. Able to get a shot into the back of these guys. I really like this position for this reason. Now, if there's Artie, this is a risky position. Generally, you're going to get chopped up by Artie. And like I said before, in the Conqueror, Artie is your worst enemy. So if there was Artie, I'd probably be playing on the other side of the mountain, or I'd be playing F2 and just kind of work in that corner a little bit. But there is no Artie, so I'm able to play this position. Not really paying too close attention to like how hull down I am, mainly because the guns that are looking at me are pretty inaccurate guns, so for them to reliably get shots into my lower plate are probably not going to be very accurate and be able to do that consistently. Now their team pushed the 9 line. And to me, the 9 line's only important if you win the middle. If you lose the middle, then the 9 line's worthless, so I don't really push the 9 line too much. If you give up the middle and you're on the 9 line, you're going to get surrounded. I don't think the hill has much worth. Maybe early on getting spots out. You definitely can support from the hill, but you are exposed to pretty much every tank that you spot, not to mention any tanks hiding in the back that are just staring up at the hill because they want to get you off the hill. But to me, I don't try not to worry about the scouts up there, nor do I go up there myself. Alright, so we're looking for shots on these guys, and there's a 705 there, able to get a shot through him. Shot him down, and now we have the IS-2M that's been playing peekaboo here. Missed a shot, he backs up just in time. Is 8-3, we are in a beat down here. Able to take down the IS-2M, pick up another kill, so we're up to 4 kills. And this is actually turning out to be a pretty good game for the Conqueror. help it out for when it comes to end of the playoffs. Unfortunately, we fluff our shot under the STI, but we're somewhat hull down. The STI's gun is not reliable, so for him to be able to land a penetrating shot there, probably not going to happen. I mean, I've definitely seen worse, but we take the risk. We don't really tighten up against that ridge line. Now there's a heavy and a tank destroyer left, and the tank destroyer dies. I definitely thought that maybe the tank destroyer takes the medium out and then I have a shot, because this one I'll have to drive forever too, and it looks like my whole team's closing in on him, so they're going to shut him down, and that'll be the end of the game. But best result so far, so hopefully boost up the Conqueror in the ranks here. And it gets to start us off. So now we're going to break down some stats, and at the end of every game I will show you not only the end game stats, but how the whole turnout is looking. So 6,700 damage, 3,000 assists, 4,000 blocked, 4,000 XP earned. We take third place in this match, pick up 5 kills, bringing our total to 6. And overall, these are our each game, obviously dropping the one game out. We have the averages along the bottom, the total right above that, and that's really how this Conqueror battle turned out. And then we put it into this spreadsheet, and this will make more sense as we go along. We'll be able to compare the tanks, but I'll quit babbling. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.